Mindfulness is important for each one of us to make our life meaningful, purposeful, and in proper use. And life is about our time. Every second, how we utilize, every minute, every hour. So the time is a key factor. So in order to utilize our time in right manner, the mindfulness in every moment is very important. If we do not have the mindfulness, the mind dwells into different directions. As we all know, the mind is so powerful and it is so volatile. Very difficult to control. It is much tougher than controlling a strong wind. So let's see what's the meaning of this mindfulness. What is about mindfulness? What is this? So the mindfulness, as Buddha rightly said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. That's it. It's very, very simple and easy method, but all we need to do is training our mind to do that, which is a more difficult part in the life. Once you train the mind into the mindfulness in every moment of the life, every time, you can handle your mind well. The first thing, the practice of this, the simple practice, as Buddha said, whenever you observe your mind, most of the time, either it thinks about the past or it dreams about the future. Most of the times, just try to understand, observe your own thoughts. Then you see what exactly these thoughts are. Is it am I thinking about the past, or am I thinking about the future? So these are the major aspects generally your mind dwells into. It goes into the past and for a moment, and immediately jumps into the future. Maybe 10 years later, or maybe whole life thinking about what to do, and lot of things the dreams it thinks about. So from the morning, when you start getting the awareness, before you wake up, you get some awareness. That time, the early morning time, you see observe your mind, what it is doing, dreaming for the future and planning, or dwelling in the past and worried about in the past what has happened and all these things. So is it thinking about it? So these are the two aspects you need to just keep observing. Nothing else to do, just observe those thoughts where it is. The first phase of the mindfulness is an observation. Okay, let's go into deeper. If
Rohan,
we do not have the mindfulness, so they said basically either mind full of things like whatever we discussed about the past or future, and thinking about house, a lot of dreams, all the dreams it thinks about, it's full. The mind is full of lots of things. But when you practice the mindfulness, so that's a pleasant state of mind, the focus on the present. So that is where we discussed about. This picture can easily explain you about this one. So introductions if you look at mindfulness, first of all, what it is bringing to us. Why need to practice the mindfulness? Mind is first of all, how do you get this experience, the mindfulness? How do you meditate? How do you keep that mind in the present moment? So those are the key factors which each one of us need to look at, focus and experience by the practice. By just reading or study, it won't come. It is only comes with an experience. It's most difficult, the challenge in life, keeping that mind in the state of the observation in the present moment. It looks very simple, but that's the most the difficult part of the life. So that is why try observing from now. Try observing. Let's see how it is. It needs to be done. What are the different methods? All those things we can go through. But at the first instance itself, when you think about this mindfulness, so mindful or mindful. So these are the two states you need to think about. What exactly our great saints have explained us. As I said, the Buddha's the principle of the mindfulness is very simply he defined. Focus on the present moment. And in the Yoga Sutras, in the principles of yoga, it's very simply explained. The states of mind are 5 states of mind. Muda, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, Nirodha. These are the 5 states given by. So what that means is, Muda is a dullness. The dullness of the mind, or the jumping, distracted mind, or disturbed mind, Vikshipta and Vikshipta, or Ekagra, the concentrated mind, the 4th state. The 5th state is Nirodha, the thoughtless state of mind. So these are the 5 different states of the mind. So where do we start? At any moment of time, all you need to do is just keep observing. In the first phase of the mindfulness practice in your day-to-day life, it's not just whenever you are sitting for a meditation, but of course you need to sit and practice this with your mind at the same time. You also need to develop that awareness and the consciousness in every moment of life. Whatever you are doing, focus on it. That is why yoga has defined this. The definition of yoga, one of the important definitions in Bhagavad Gita, it is told, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. The excellence in every work, the dexterity in every work is yoga. Why it is excellent it's making? Because the focused mind, focused in that's called mindfulness. That's you're concentrating on the present moment. Mind is not distracted, 100% giving the focus, attention to what you are doing. So that is what actually you need to build slowly into our life. Not only our life, but every child, we need to bring this culture. So because generally when in the very childhood, they have very mindful and easy going. And later on the distractions happens when they come to the worldly things. That's where the spoiling starts. So that's where you need to again bring back to your original state of excellence in your mind with this focus. So what is mindfulness again? Then you question. So mindfulness is paying attention in a way that it is purposeful, non-judgmental, in the present moment. So these are the three factors you need to look at. It should be purposeful. Mindfulness is not just dwelling the mind. It is purposeful. What is the purpose? That means every time, whenever you do something, purpose. What is the purpose? Why am I doing this? We have to question. Unless you question your mind, it does whatever it wants. So that's why you have to question. Why? What I am doing? Am I doing that or not? So all these things, just observe. Observe what mind is doing. How these actions are happening. Observe the things. What are the changes happening within your body and within around you? So these are the things you can again. So non-judgmental and in the present moment. So the mindfulness is basically a practice of learning to focus attention and awareness on the moment by moment experience with an attitude of curiosity, openness and acceptance. Acceptance is very important. That's why what we have, our culture, our original culture, is universal acceptance. Universal acceptance, tolerance and universal acceptance. As Swami Vivekananda says, our culture, the culture of the humanity, is tolerance, universal acceptance. So these are the two factors we need to. So these two factors again comes into the mindfulness. So when it is non-judgmental, whatever it comes, we accept it. Whatever is happening, just be witness. So that is how this mindfulness happens in day-to-day action. Do not react, but act. That is very, very important. It's not just you are not sitting idle, but you are just building the awareness, and you are just making you're ready for the next moment and see like what you have to take the action in long term, not the short term reactions. That is what that's what you need to focus. And when you start doing this, it goes for not the temporary fixes. It goes for the what is the root cause. How can I fix it? How can I make it? If you think there's something wrong happening, yes, what is the reason for happening this? Let me observe. What happens with this? So just keep observing. It may be a problem within your body. It may be the thoughts, the group of thoughts in your mind, or it may be outside factors, that your interactions or your relations or anything in life, whatever it is happening, everything observe moment by moment, experience with an attitude of curiosity, openness and acceptance. Just be open, just be an observer, be an observer, be an observer. Do not react. So the goal of mindfulness is to wake up to the inner workings of our mental, emotional and physical processes. So always be aware of what is happening in your mind, what is happening in your emotions. Just observe your emotions and observe your the physical processes within your body, what is happening. So by developing this mindfulness, you will be able to identify everything happening within your body and everything happening in your mind, in your emotions, in your thoughts. So this is the process of building that awareness and taking you in deeper understanding of the things happening, and you will understand more about you, and the deeper understanding, a clear understanding of the body and the mind, so that you will not get agitated, you will not get stressed. The stress is because lack of understanding. Stress is because of the fear. So when you keep observing with the openness, calmness, whatever it is happening, being as an observer, as a witness, that stress and the mental instability goes off. So try to, let's say, once you see most of the day having a silent conversations within ourselves, you always talk. But mindfulness is thus, it's a listening, not talking. So always talk, what to do, what is that, what is this. So every time talk to silently, conversation happening within you. Either you are interacting with the outside world, or the conversation or the thinking process happening within inside. That's all talking, that's all conversations happening. But the mindfulness is a listening mode, observing mode. That's what you need to start doing it. And it's a kind of a mental exercise for the mind, much like physical exercise for the body. So for body we do a lot of physical exercise. That is why when you are practicing yoga sadhana, when you are doing the yoga, you also need to be mindful of every movement, and that will help you to avoid unnecessary movements in life, unnecessary movements in your body, in your unnecessary thoughts in your mind. It will slowly filter out. So that is it modifies, it makes life more meaningful, more clear. So that is how this mindfulness brings you that kind of a clarity. But it needs is a mind exercise. Mind exercise is like a body, right? Daily how you are practicing the whole body, and do that, the mindfulness. That is why when you start doing the yoga, many people does yoga as a physical exercise, but actually they are not doing the yoga, they are just doing the physical exercise. But when you are exactly getting into the yoga, the practice of yoga, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, all these things with the mindful. This is all about the building that observation in every moment of your body, every moment of your mind, and every moment of your breath. So that happens, the entire series, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. And also the same time, the following the 5 commandments for the self-discipline, 5 commandments for the social discipline, you also keep observing, am I in rightly following these principles or not? The basic human values, am I violating those rules or not? So that is also again building the inner consciousness. So this slowly builds up in every moment by moment, is slowly you get into that. So how does it help basically? So as we discussed, we rush taking decisions. So many times you rush the decisions taking. Sometimes you end up taking the wrong decisions because lack of observation. And now when you look at the things happening, many things without the proper observation, without proper understanding, you take with the off knowledge, you take the decision. Sometimes with off listening to the others, you just take the decision and you react. So many times the relationship spoils, and the stress happens, and wrong decisions happens because of the lack of mindfulness. That is why the practice of mindfulness helps you to get the body in right condition, get your food in right way, and eating mindfully. Again, the food is also what food you are eating, how you are eating. Are you eating? Some people, for example, there are many. I worked with many children. Many children, they generally they just swallow unknowingly with an absent mind. The mind is thinking somewhere else. Some people are watching TV, and these things are just swallowing without chewing. That won't digest. So because lack of mindfulness while eating, that's the wrong thing happening, disorder. And similarly, while drinking water, and we need to drink slow, sip by sip. But the many people without the knowledge, in a hurry, just drink quickly, and then they do not, they feel that they are drinking the water. They do not experience it. So that the mindfulness helps you to experience every moment. So any moment of the time you experience, you be aware of what is happening. Not only just here, that even around, everything is observation comes. The mind is so powerful, but the many people they do not use mind in a proper way, because lack of the control of the mind, lack of observation, lack of the mindfulness. And because of lack of mindfulness, mind is full of thoughts, full of different things, occupied. Because of occupied, that's a stress. That's causing every problem. And lack of clarity. Because of so many things happening in the mind, so no clarity. That is when you focus on the present moment, you are very clear. You know what you are doing clearly, and you take the right decisions. That is why this is important. So it's also a way to know ourselves, who we are, why we are here. In every moment, you are, for example, you are going in a train, on a travel. Why I am going there? Is it right time to go? If you are visiting someone, why you are going there? Is it really have a purpose? So you question everything. So you do, the purposeful activities when you have a mindfulness, and that becomes that creates the value in your life. That creates the quality in your life. That brings a lot of insight within your mind, and the clarity, and understand your own body, understand your own mind. That is obsessive. See, this is basically science of dissociation from the body. The mind-body split is basically obsessive thinking, judgmental thinking or behaving, and distracting and numbing, and speeding or rushing. So these are the things happening. So many times this is a thing you can see in day-to-day life. So if you need to avoid this, you need to start practicing the mindfulness. So the past few sessions we discussed about importance of the health, healthy cooking, better parenting, how we can make our children more healthy, happy, and with a good attitude, good character, and more purposeful. How we can make them as leaders. So that is the thing we discussed. But to do all that, to make our own corrections, to make our food right, so the mindfulness is necessary. While eating, while cooking, while feeding children, or while you are working in office, and while you are talking to the others, every time mindfulness is important. And while your body is facing some problem, mindfulness is important. Observing, you understand more about it. And when you're doing exercise, observing that exercise, in the sense that the yoga sadhana. I'm not talking about just physical exercise. Just physical exercise is not much useful. The exercise, holistic exercise, mind, body together, and the self, that unity. So that is why the building that inner awareness and conscious about every second, every the valuable the minute of your life helps you to utilize every minute properly, so that you can make great within your time. Every day you can have a great day because you make more. With the consciousness, you will filter out all the unnecessary things from the life just with the mindfulness. So that is how it helps. So that at the moment, if you look at the problems, because of the disconnection from the body, what is happening? The fatigue. It takes a lot of energy to keep shutting off a part of ourselves. So every time it does unnecessary movements. For example, if children are sitting in a class, many of them just keep on moving. A lot of unnecessary movements that creates the distraction in their mind, but they do not understand. So it is the key thing which we need to observe. Just one second. So sorry for that. Even anxiety is happening because of this lack of the mindfulness and disconnection from the body. So you feel body is different, it's not integrated. The feeling of cutting off from the love, power, bodily signals, and confident in small confined in a small identity, a limited sense of self. So confined identity in the sense you identify yourself with something. It may be anger. You say, I'm angry, I'm so worried, I'm frustrated, or I'm anxiety. So that way you identify with those gunas, with those the happenings. But you are not that. It is happening. So that is where you separate from what is happening, and when you understand this thing, when you connect to the body, when you connect to the mind. So the symptoms of disconnection is basically loss of vitality. The chronic pains happens, even back pains or neck pains or arthritis. All these are happening because lack of this because of the disconnection from the body. And then the stress related conditions. Example. People face different kind of conditions with the pains, different pains. Each pain is different. You cannot compare with the others diseases. Each body is different. That's again all these things happening. The 85% of the diseases, what we call as the psychosomatic diseases, it's all coming from the mind. So, but many people think that the body is facing the problem. Body is only just getting the final results, but it is originated at the mind. And people try to do the medicine at the body level, that the symptoms are at the body level, and then you are just trying to kill the symptoms. It doesn't help. You have to take out the root from the mind. So that's why mindfulness helps you to connect to the body. So how to reconnect? Basically, again, the mindfulness. Notice when time traveling, predicting mind reading, come back. So all just mind reading. So observe. The notice, just notice. Notice what is happening, nothing else. All you're doing is just observation. All you're changing is mindfulness, just observation, nothing else. So pause, that becomes aware. So first you become aware of what is happening in our body, instead of getting lost in our reactive thoughts. So immediately react. Do not react. Just observe. Just observe what's happening there. Whatever happens, let it happen. Just observe. Then you see a lot of difference. Because of the reactive thoughts, the problem is becoming worse. That is why do not have the reactive thoughts. Whatever is happening within your body, it may be pain, a back pain or neck pain or something else. Just observe. Bear with it. Just be patient. Be patient and see what's happening. And see what it is. So everything comes and goes. It is all anitya. That is what in the Buddha's principle it says. Everything, it comes and goes. It comes and goes. So all you need to do is just observe, nothing else. You do not need to do anything. The reaction is a problem. That creates unnecessary thoughts, unnecessary emotions, and that brings unnecessary things. So that's why. So the first you need to do the pause and observe. Be patient. Similarly, when you start doing it, you will not just get into the immediate, the painkillers, medication, all that stuff. So that is again causing the problems. All these immediate reactions, making you to eat all these the tablets. That is causing another problem. So that is why do not react, just but act. So the body scan helps to. That is why when you are doing the yoga sadhana, every time after every asana, I tell just observe head to toe and toe to head. Why? This scanning is very, very important. Unless you understand your body clearly, the yogasana, you cannot really practice well. What is happening in every moment, that you observe. That is the yoga sadhana, is practice of your the mindfulness every time. The understanding, your deeper understanding, that there's a reconnection happens through this sadhana, the body scan. So that's why body scan that we do in the morning yoga sadhana as part of the asanas and pranayama, etc. So of course, first connecting to the body scanning is first thing. So the next thing is the breathing and the breathing awareness when you do the practice of observing the breath. The pranayama thing you do. So adopt helpful attitudes in our mindful practice. So what are certain attitudes? Non-judging. Do not judge. No, I'm very restless and really relaxed. Do not judge. Just see what's happening. Do not react. Do not worry. So that worry and the reaction is a problem. Do not get reacted. Just hold on. See what's happening. Be patient, and it's a beginner's mind. So just the swipe all the whatever happening in the mind. Just make it as a starting point. Again and again, trust yourself. So non-striving, acceptance, letting go. Let it come and go. Do not react. So that is an attitude you need to develop. These are the attitudes required for the mindfulness. Different methods. So let's practice focused attention using your non-dominant hand. Notice that it feels like stay present. Focused attention on the senses. For example, observe your senses. What is happening in your eyes, in your vision, in your smell, in your taste, in your tongue, what's happening. Everything, just try to observe your senses. and observe the body, the surface. What is the skin? Touch sense is happening. Observe all the five senses. Here, when you say the mind about it, mind has got different parts of it. So the first thing is the observing the senses is one key element. And that is why when you are scanning the body inside, see what is happening, what is the feeling you are getting, the touch of the air, that is one of the feelings. And it may be the smell, it is coming from outside. So there are all the five senses are working, and see, observe what is happening, all the scanning, how these things and the senses are reacting. So slowly you understand the body, senses, mind, slowly bring that awareness and focus on the breath. Count 10 in and out breaths. Every time when you get time, take your concentration onto the breath and keep noticing the breathing. So when you keep noticing, if you just keep on crossing, just mindfully taking the breath continuously without any distraction, if you are focusing more than 5 breaths, you can see the complete calmness, slowness in the breath. That calms down everything. Very simple technique. So open monitoring senses, even whatever is happening, just observe within the body. As I said, it may be a pain, it may be something else. So also body scan. Also try to understand the body scan. So the pains happening within your body, it is something. It is getting released. See what it is getting released. And then sometimes when you keep observing, you will see the stiffness somewhere in your body. And when you keep observing your breath, you see the forceful breath or some breathing disorder where you take the shorter breaths, and then even shorter breath outs. You are not giving enough time. That means oxygen supply is not enough. So these are, when you keep observing your breath, you correct your breathing. When you keep observing your body, you correct your body movements, make your body, because body movements happening from the mind. When mind is start observing, so you build slowly that inner and deeper awareness. And then all these unnecessary activities and the reactions will not happen. If thought level, if everything the mind is observing, so mind will not have unnecessary the goofed up thoughts. So open monitoring, this is basically, as I said, senses, body scan. These things are open monitoring. Basically, just openly witness it. If it is your breathing, if it's hot, hot. If it's cool, cool. Experience it. For example, when you're taking the bath, take mindfully. If it is a cold water, if it's cool water, don't react. Take the cool water. The same as hot water. So like warm water, how you react, same way you say, yeah, same way. Then you just experience how it is. Yes, that is fine. Then you will be fine. So you will be all right. So then slowly you can start the making your body more easygoing. The body, the resistance is actually from the mind, because mind is not open, not observing. So that is why this observation is important. So these are the key, the basics of the mindfulness. So any questions do you have so far? And thank you for listening. And then we can, once you are clear, we can start practicing the mindful meditation. If you do not have questions, but I'll keep 5 minutes for the questions. Then we can start 10 minutes of meditation of that.
So one question, sir. You told we should not be thinking about future or past. We should be living in the present.
Yes.
So, but when you need to plan for things in future, it can be next day activities or any other things. So how do you define that? Is that categorized as planning for future, even if it's the next day?
Okay, the good question from Omshi here. So when you are planning for the future, is it wrong? No. You are doing a planning work. That time you do the planning work. You think about it. You focus on it and plan step by step. For example, we make a lot of project plans. Our life is also a project plan. So it's the most important project plan. So that must be done. You need to make the project plan for your life. You need to plan the life. But how do you plan? How do you plan is important. First thing is, by getting this mindfulness helps you to understand deeper, because when you have a mindfulness, you're questioning why, what. So then you have a purpose. This again, every moment by moment by moment, you are asking purpose. Why? What is the purpose? Am I doing? So that then when you drink the deeper awareness, your goals and whatever you thought yesterday, it will not stay today, and your goals will change.
You told we should not think about future.
So every time you live like this is my last moment of the life. Do not plan too much, but at the same time have the understanding purpose. That itself is a goal. The purpose. When you know the purpose, you are acting on the purpose, making the progress. You know the goal of the life, then you keep on making the progress on it, on the path. And at the same time, you are aware that this body, this is a vehicle, it can go anytime. You cannot plan. It can go anytime. So, and the stress and all these problems happening because you think that this I am the body and that this is a permanent. No, this is not permanent. This is only just vehicle. That is not you. That's what we need to understand. So that is why, as you be an observer, make body as an external, as a vehicle. How you see the external things. You see this thing body also in the same way. And do not plan for the body. Even if this body goes, you also continue acting. How? That of course you need to plan, and you need to get that realization later on. But slowly, the first thing is the understanding, the removing the ignorance. Start from I am not the body. If you think, okay, I am the body, why? You question and then work out. You can take any problem, you all know the mathematics, how you solve. You can start from, x is unknown or x equal to something. Start and solve the problem. Fuzz it. So that is why you can start with either from the I am the body and then find out who you are, or you can start the other way. I am not the body, or who am I? You find out. So from there you find out. That is the ultimate the knowledge we all must get, basically. Once you get that knowledge, who am I? That's it, your life goal is done. You are there. So that is why to work there to perfectly alright. It is not something someone can give the answer, but this is everyone, each one of us have to find out ourselves and experience it. It is not that something the theoretical knowledge. It is only the experience. What you are, Atmasthiti, what is that? That experience. That is what we call as a self-realization or nirvana, etc. Those are the next steps. But the first thing is the be clear on these, the purpose, the life purpose, and be in the present. And you will not worried about too many things. Of course, you have to make the plan for the kids' education, or you have to plan for your tomorrow's the classes. All that the things happening. At the same time, you are very clear on what you are doing. So that means you would not think too much about all these things every time. There's a time for everything, and then you take that time. This is the planning time. This is the thing. So what is happening. So you make your schedule properly. That is why actually this is all about utilizing the time. That's it.
So from what you told till now, mindfulness meditation, let the thoughts come through your mind, but don't react to it. Let the thoughts come and pass through.
Correct. So when you are even meditating, so when you are going to meditate, so whatever happening, do not react. That's the first thing we need to observe. Just do not react, be an observer. Whatever happening, just be witness. So you think, oh, there's some thought is coming, and let it come and go. And do not extend it or prolong it. Do not extend it or prolong it. Just keep observe and leave it. Leave it there. And just keep observing. Keep observe your emotions. What emotions you have at the moment. What the mental state you have. What the physical activity you have. So all these things, just be an observer. So any other questions from any, maybe one or two questions we can take?
I have one question over here. This is Rohan here, by the way.
Hi, Rohan.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was quite brilliant, actually. But the thing which I have personally felt or actually experienced is that aren't we making mind more linear by practicing mindfulness, or instead of actually utilizing its parallel behavior? Like, for example, let's say mind not only controls heart but controls every part of the body.
That's very good question. Yeah, excellent. Exactly. So that is actually whatever happening within your body, sometimes mind holds it. For example, heartbeat is happening automatically. You are not doing it. Your mind is not doing it. Heartbeat is happening automatically. And then similarly, the breath is happening automatically. Your mind is not doing it. And once the mind is in different states, it will try to control these functions. That is where the problem happens. But when you are that is none of the business for the mind. That's not mind's work. The mind work is different. The observing some of them and the acting on some of them.
No, my example of giving my point of giving about the heart, example of heart is to just tell you that within a body it's not just one thing that's happening. So similarly in the mind, it's not just one thing that's happening. So we can actually run multiple things all at the same time. Why are we focusing more on the linearity of it?
Correct. So I understand that the mind can do many things, many thoughts that it can process. But what you have to do is many things it can hold, but it's time slices. It time slices. Even if you are doing a multitasking, just observe your mind. It is only a time slicing. So it is like frequency modulation and time modulation we call about. But in that is only one thought at a time. Generally it can process only one thing at a time, but it slices.
If that's the case, then actually I used to think in that pattern. But okay, feel free to stop me in between if I'm actually dragging too much. But I have seen scenarios in my own life that sometimes you are in a difficult situation in your, let's say, office work, or you're trying to solve a problem which is very complex, and you actually solve that problem in your dream, and you are actually dreaming something else, but the solution comes in between. Oh, why don't we do like this?
Correct.
But you are not actually focusing on that one at that point of time, but the solution comes like that. So that means something is actually going on in subconscious mind without your knowledge, and something which is already running. Yes. But if I make it more linear, that means am I not stopping the natural behavior of my mind?
No, you are not stopping. These are the background processes. We call the background processes in parallelly. So whatever the thought it has got, it will be there and it comes out. Okay, so there's some problem is there. So some problem you kept somewhere. So the mind functions will not change. Mind functions will stay as is. Mind functions, I understand what you are saying about these mind functions. Mind functions it, slices it, and all these processes, it schedules it. There are a lot of things happening within the mind. This is the processor, right? Within that processor, you are just making all these the thoughts in background processes and front end processes, everything processing happening in different ways. But in the front end, when it does the work, it is doing. And background, when it is doing some process, when the idea comes, that means what is happening there? It is basically pulling out that idea from your brains slowly and coming out, yes, I got the answer. I got the answer. So that means you kept a question there, and then in background and in ideal time slice, it will start working. It is not that it is working in parallel. It is utilizing your ideal slices, and then it is executing in the background and coming up with an idea.
So that is perfectly fine if you have a single processor system. Why are we actually making it single processor system?
No, it's not. Mindfulness is not single processor system. It's all about just being without reacting, just observing one thing, just observing in the present moment. Because if you lose the present moment, thinking about the past or thinking about the future, in the present moment you lose the things. Actually, whatever has to happen, you have to be in the present anyway. You cannot dwell in the past, because when you are working with something, for example, the many children I tell even in office, when they are in the meeting, they start using the WhatsApp or something else. Everyone has to shut down that thing and focus on the meeting, and then everyone comes out with the right solutions for the discussion what we are discussing. So that means everyone, I'm not making everyone linear. So they can in the background they can have all the processes running, but they will focus on the talking, and then all this the topic what we are discussing currently, and then the mind start helping itself, and then getting the ideas related to they are focused. So that way in the meeting everyone is in mindful state here. So that means in one topic they are discussing. It's not disconnected. Similarly, when our body and mind also the same thing. Whatever you are asking, it's very the important point actually. So that's what actually happening to the general day-to-day life also. Either a child in the classroom, or a person in the meeting room, or when you are working with a system or a computer, or doing multiple tasks at the same time. So these are the things happening. The performance of the mind happens properly when you start doing these slices properly. It is more of mindfulness, is more of this time slicing. You are optimizing your time slicing properly, and you are optimizing the one thing at a time. Whatever it is doing, you are making mind to do in a much proper manner.
Okay.
This improves the focus. Basically, if without mindfulness, what happens is mind keep doing number of things, and it will end up taking too many unnecessary things, and accumulates unnecessary stuff into that. So, but when you have the mindfulness, it will only hold only very little amount of these things. Unnecessary process will be completely avoided.
To get the best performance of
best performance, it gives you completely best performance, because the unnecessary things you are filtering out completely because of the mindfulness.
filtering out at that point in time.
Yeah, immediately. Yeah. So immediately, and it comes into the mind itself, you are just filtering out. In the first point itself, you are cutting. If you are unconsciously doing it, and then you are doing the mistake at the present, and that causes the problem in the future. And if you are thinking about the past, in your past there's something you have to solve, or you cannot do anything. You cannot change past anyway. And the future you are working on something. You are working on, and then of course you definitely you have to do something for the future. But by not focusing on present, you cannot solve the future problem. That is why even solving the future problem, you need to focus on the present, which is very important. Of course, the present is about the next steps what you are already walking on the path. So that is why it is all about the streamlining. Once you keep streamlining, you get it. As a first step, do not think too deeper into this. It's a very good point. I appreciate your question and the thinking you're doing very well. And when you start the mindfulness, don't think that this is a linear thing. Just keep observing what is happening in your body, and keep observing when you're eating. Keep observing, are you eating completely or not? Mindful eating. Completely in the sense, if you are just unconsciously eating, you're just swallowing, not digesting. That means eating is waste. That is why by not having a mindfulness, that means you're not completely blocking the mind, but having in the present moment, and enjoying that food, and having a pleasant moments in everything, whatever you do, whatever work you do, you do it pleasantly when you have a mindfulness.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, sit straight. Let's do a few minutes of meditation. Sit straight. Keep your neck and spinal straight. Any comfortable meditative posture. Relax your shoulders. Relax your all body parts. Just cross your hands or keep both on Dhyana Mudra or Chin Mudra. Just take your awareness to the top of the head. Just observe what are the sensations happening at the exactly middle of your head. Slowly start observing the whole part of the brain, every part, the front side, the left side, right side and back side. Slowly try to scan your body, every part of your body in the face, from the face, the head, visit all the parts in your head region. Just observe what's happening, what are the sensations coming in. It might be a touch sensation, or the touch of the cloth. A touch of the air. Slowly scan downwards to the throat region and trunk region. All the body parts, one by one. And at the back, the spinal cord. Once you complete until hip joints, and slowly take your focus onto the lower part of the body, to the legs. Scan legs from the hip joints, thighs, knees, calf muscles, legs and toes. Now slowly come the toes to come back. Observe in your return journey from the toes to the head, every body part. Just be witness. Whatever is happening, just observe and move up. It may be a little pain, it may be a pleasant sensation. Just be a witness. Whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, just be witness and move part by part upwards to the top of the head. Now physical body, Annamaya Kosha I have observed. I move on to the next, the layer for Annamaya Kosha, which is just to observe your breath. After you start observation, you can feel the calmness in your breath. Take your entire attention at the entrance of the nostrils. Just observe the natural breath, incoming breath and outgoing breath. Whether it is going to the left nostril or right nostril or both the nostrils. Just observe. Whether it is a cool air or warm air. Be alert, attentive, keep observing every breath. Complete the entire attention in your breath. Just nothing but breath. When you keep entire focus, you can keep experiencing the slowness of the breath, the calmness in your breath. If you're getting any thoughts, just let thought come and go. Just take your attention onto the breath. Just be witness. Just another 1 minute. Slowly take a deep breath. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। May all beings happy and peaceful. May you all have a wonderful, pleasant mind, peaceful, harmonious, healthy, happy life. Thank you all for joining. Wish you all the best. Thank you. Namaste. Just touch your palms on your eyes gently and open up your arms. Look at your palms gently. Thank you. Namaskar.